So the big question is, how do health experts like you and I generate more income, impact more people, and create businesses that work around their lifestyle and serve their family at the highest possible level? If you want the answer to that question, then you're in the right place at the right time. Whether you're a dietitian, a nutritionist, or a nutrition coach, this is for you. My name is Dr. Javier Carlin, and I want to welcome you to the Practice Revolution. We are a movement that is revolutionizing the way private practices are built so you can practice on your terms. So go ahead and join us and follow along as we learn, apply, and share the top business growth strategies that we're using to grow our own business and to help you grow yours, using only the best insights and advice from top industry leaders. So thank you so much for listening. Enjoy the show.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Dr. Joyce Faraj-Ardura, and I am a nutrition counseling coach, assistant professor of nutrition dietetics, and founder of the Nutrition Counseling Academy. I am also the host of the Nutrition Coaching and Counseling Facebook group for dietitians, and I'm excited to welcome our guest for today, Dr. Javier Carlin, the co-founder of the Practice Revolution, and we're going to be talking about the power of masterclasses. How to reach a wider or greater audience using masterclasses.
One of the ways that we'll be talking about today that we've been able to grow multiple businesses has been through masterclasses. When it comes to online events, it's very similar to what we did in person through what is typically called workshops or seminars. And so it's just really, really neat because this process, this system actually works in multiple different industries, whether it's online or offline. And so it's really cool to see how people have been using this process to grow their business and help a lot of people.
And I have to share my own personal story.
Yes.
I've been working with Javier and Marissa, and they taught me everything I know about master classes. And I found it to be such a valuable tool because it allows me to reach a greater audience. But it's a win-win, really, because as a nutrition counseling coach, I am able to provide value to everyone who wants to join these webinars. At the same time, because my audience are dietitians, I always try to get a CEU. So there's also an extra value they're getting. And at the same time, for those of them who are interested in learning more strategies and implementing more things by working with me after the seminar, after the masterclass, then they're able to do so. So at the very end, I tend to also share, ways to work with me. So it really is a win-win all around, and I love them. And that's why I invited Javi to come talk to us about them and to learn a little bit more about what they are they right for you, and what are some tips if you wanted to implement some masterclasses in your practice.
Anyone that is interested in actually learning what a masterclass is, how to create one, how to launch one, how to make sure it's successful. We are hosting a 5-day challenge actually next week, which I'm so excited about. We love hosting events, and we haven't ran one in quite some time. So it's going to be epic. So if that's of interest to you, just till the end, I'm going to go ahead and show you how you can get involved because we'd love to see you there. We'd love to invite you to this 5-day event that we're hosting next week. It's going to blow your socks off. And so before I share that with you, let me share with you a little bit more about what the master classes are so awesome and why you should be doing them.
So I did get this question recently on a message. Someone saw one of my last emails and they asked me, so Joyce, what is a master class? I hear this term thrown left and right, but I'm not quite sure what it is. So can you elaborate a little bit on what master classes are?
Yeah, for sure. So what a master class is, it's basically an event. Okay, and you run for about 60 to 90 minutes. You essentially host the event on a specific topic that your audience is interested in, right? And with this topic, you're going to dive in a little bit deeper and share with your audience a few tips, tricks, strategies to help them with what they need help with, right? So if you're a dietitian or nutrition coach and you're helping people, let's say, either lose weight, either energy, maybe eat a gluten-free, whatever it might be, you're able to actually bring people and invite people to class, right, where you share with them valuable information. And I think that's what's so special about this process is that you lead with value and you spend time with them, you teach them the things that you know, give people clarity on, what their potential problems are, the challenges, why the things that they've tried in the past haven't worked, and you're able to share with them the strategies that you help people with that actually get results, and they get so much value from it. And so in this event, you're able to, like I said, provide value, help a lot of people at once, because typically you'll have 20, 30, hundreds, if not thousands of people registered for your events, and you're able to provide that value all at once. And then, like Joyce was mentioning, you can actually present an offer. And so the offer is essentially an invitation to people who want more of your support, who want more of your guidance to the class, and want help implementing what you to work with at a different level. And why that's really neat is that with the master and instead of giving people an invitation for your offer, you can just about offer anything. You can sell, whether it's courses, whether it's an ebook, whether it's another event, whether it's your group program or hybrid program. It could be your one-to-one services. The list is endless. You can offer anything to anyone with an event of this magnitude. And so it makes it really, really nice for you to be able to, again, help a lot of people and at the same time make a lot more money in less time, because you can do it all within a 90-minute class. And so in a nutshell, that's what a masterclass is, and they're awesome.
And I'm just going to add that typically we tend to think of them as online, but they can also be in person, right?
100%. Yep, 100%. That's actually where we started. So we, with the private practices, we did tons of in-person events. We did them inside of our own clinic, and we also did it at local businesses. So we did it at Burn Boot Camp, we did it at I Love Kickboxing, and so many other businesses. And it's really nice because it's essentially the exact same thing. The only difference is you're doing it in person with people actually there in front of you.
Right. So that sounds wonderful. So I like to hear about, who is this masterclass model for? Like, who would benefit from using something like this?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so when it comes to the masterclass system, what's really nice about it is that it really is for anyone. And so whether you're just starting out in business, you can benefit from hosting a masterclass. Whether you are a current business owner and you're doing really well, if you haven't done a masterclass before, it could really bring in a nice influx of new clients. If you are not full-time in your business and maybe you're side hustling, right? One of the biggest challenges that people have when they're just starting out and they have a side hustle is that they're also working part-time or full-time. And it can be a challenge to do all the things that you need to do, while growing your business. And so what's really nice about this process is that, as opposed to having to get on sales calls with, multiple people throughout the week, throughout the month, as opposed to having to have conversations, 24/7 through Messenger, which all these things, by the way, are other methods of attaining clients. And, for us and many of our clients, we still recommend doing that. But with this system, it does allow you to take a step back, invite people to one training, and do it in a way that's more time effective. And so, if you're side hustling, if you're just starting, if you're a business owner, it works for you. And again, like I mentioned before, no matter what you're offering, you can utilize it. So master classes, events are for everyone. If you think about it, one of the biggest companies on the planet hosts events. If anyone's watching live right now, can you guess what company that is? Right? I'll give you a hint. Right? They make these devices. Okay, Apple. Apple has been hosting events for decades now, and I believe in 2020, when the pandemic hit, they hit their first. They had their first full on virtual event. Right? It happens every year. It's called the Apple event. Right? Around September, October. And so if you think about it, if one of the largest companies on the planet hosts events to grow their business,
and maintain their business, then maybe you should look into it too.
Absolutely. This one-to-many approach is really wonderful because it reduces the amount of work that you have to do, and you're reaching more people,
Yeah,
and also showing them, your expertise through that value, and being able to share a little bit of what you do, and they can visualize what it's like working with you too.
definitely, 100%. That's huge. What you just mentioned, the idea that at the end of the day, people that decide to work with you, they want to make sure that they're aligned with you as a person because they're going to be hanging out with you quite a bit. And so it really is beneficial for both parties because it'll repel the people that you maybe don't want to work with because they just don't align with you, your values, your energy, right? And it'll attract the people that you do want to work with, right? That see you and think, wow, this person is awesome. I can learn from them, all day. And because of that, they're more likely to want to work with you. And when they do work with you, they're just much easier to work with. So many benefits.
Absolutely. So I'm curious, Javi, to be able to use master classes, where do you start audience wise? Do you need a big audience? Do you need a big email list? Or how do you do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we get asked this a lot. And so a lot of people think that they need to wait till they have a big enough audience to host these classes. Now, I'll be honest with you. Obviously, I think with anything in business, right, if you have a bigger audience, if you have more people that are following you, that know who you are, it's going to be more successful because, when you put out a registration link to get people to sign up, you'll have hundreds, if not thousands, of people signing up, which is just more opportunities to serve and more opportunities for people to want to work with you. And so it makes sense that if you have a bigger audience, you will get better results. Now, with that said, there have been, when done right, there have been people, including ourselves, that have hosted events like master classes with a very small audience, with a small email list. And if done correctly, you can still get really, really great results. Here's another reason why you might want to consider, even with a smaller audience, or if you're just starting out, hosting a master class. At the end of the day, there's a lot of new things that you have to do as a newer business owner. And a lot of them can be uncomfortable because you haven't done it before. And with a lot of these things, typically, you're probably not going to be that good in the beginning, right? Most people, just put it frankly, are going to suck, right? But it's okay because it would be unreasonable for you to be good at something that you haven't done before. And so it's better to suck when you don't have a big audience, but still do it because you'll have maybe 1, 2, 10 people there. And so the number of people that you have to present in front of is a lot smaller. And so you should feel more comfortable with that, right? And that way, as you host these events, you continue to build up your skills, you continue to become a better presenter, you build up your confidence so that when you do have a big audience, when you do have hundreds, if not thousands of people registering for your events, you're rocking it, right? And so those are a few of the different reasons why you should be doing them anyway, whether you have a small or big audience. And yeah, so of course, just to recap, you'll have better results if you have a larger audience, yes. But the truth is that some people have massive audiences and don't really know how to run successful events, and they flop. And so at the end of the day, the audience size can benefit you, but that's not the most important thing.
Great. So there is a method to putting master classes together so that we can actually get the result that we want to get from using them.
Definitely.
So I'm curious, what are some tips that you have for getting more people to sign up, especially when someone has a smaller audience?
Yeah, this is a great question. And I'm going to go ahead and give you three core tips when it comes to getting people to sign up with you. And these three are organic methods, meaning you don't need paid advertising for these three methods. Now, when you have a smaller audience, the trick is that we can have a smaller audience, but if they're a small audience and an engaged audience, again, like I mentioned before, that is more valuable than a big audience that's just not engaged with you or your content. And so there are really three ways to get people to register for your class. The first one is one that a lot of people don't want to hear about and don't enjoy doing, which is called active outbound. So I'm going to go with the 3 A's here, okay, just so that we remember. So the first one is active outbound, which means you're actively emailing people, text messaging people, and sending people messages to invite them to your class. Now, it is not spammy. It's very permission based, meaning that you're simply saying, hey, name, hope you're doing well, right? Very genuine, hope you're doing well. I'm actually hosting a class on XYZ topic that I think you might be interested in. Would you like more information on it? And if it's a free class, you say, hey, and it's free, by the way, or hey, it's only $27 and I think you're really going to love it. Would you like the details? From there, they have the opportunity to say yes or no, and that's it, right? And so for some people, that might be like, oh, well, that's going to take a lot of time to message all these people. And that, it is true. Yeah, it can take some time. There are softwares out there that can actually do it for you. So for example, right now, I have a software that's sending out messages without me having to do anything, right? And number two, you can also hire a virtual assistant, have a team member to do it for you. And so active outbound, especially when you have a smaller audience, can be very beneficial for you to get more people registered for your masterclass. So that's the first way. So the second A is what we call attraction marketing. Okay, so putting out content essentially. And so with attraction marketing, the idea is that we're putting out content, and this could look like live videos, it could look like reels, content in general. And this content is meant to attract people to what we have going on. So we put out content, it resonates with our audience. The content can direct people to the class that we're hosting. Now, this is great. Attraction marketing is great. I personally like to take a proactive approach. And so there are going to be people that, yes, register for your masterclass without you having to ever message them. And that's great, right? Do that. At the same time, I also want as many people there. So I'll do a combination of attraction marketing, putting out content to get people to register without me talking to them. And then at the same time, I'll also do active outbound. And so that's the second way that you can get people registered for your masterclass. And of course, with attraction marketing, it gets better over time as you learn your audience and learn what type of messaging gets them the most interested. And so the third A, when it comes to getting people to sign up for your masterclass, is affiliates. Okay, and so you probably have people in your industry that you could partner up with, that you can do collaborations with, right? Just like me and Joyce are doing here right now, right? We both serve the same audience. And so we can actually host classes like this together to get more people to know that this is happening, that this exists. Okay. And so that is the third way to get more signups to your events, your classes, is with affiliates, with people who believe in your products and services and want to help get the word out. And so that is actually one of the fastest and best ways to get people to your class. Because if you think about it, let's say you do have a smaller audience and you have, let's say you have 300 people on Instagram, right? And you help people with nutrition coaching for weight loss, okay? Just because it's easy for everyone to understand. And there's a supplement company, whether you believe in supplements or not, but there is a supplement company out there, okay? And let's say they have 100,000 followers on Instagram, but they don't do nutrition coaching, right? It wouldn't be a bad idea to reach out to them and see if they would like to do a collaboration or partnership in front of their audience, because you have 300, they have 100,000, right? And so by partnering up with them, you can get in front of 100,000 people just like that, where you otherwise wouldn't be able to do that. And so that is, we call it OPA. Using other people's audiences is one of the fastest ways to get signups and one of the fastest ways to get more exposure in general. Okay. And so those are the three best organic methods to getting people to sign up for your masterclass, even if you have a small audience.
I love it. You have nothing to lose really by asking.
Nope.
We have a saying in Spanish. Our saying goes, you already have the no. So why not just ask and see if there's a possibility that it's going to work out?
I love that.
And that's, you can always, offer to reciprocate, even if your audience is much smaller.
100%. And that's the thing. Like a lot of people that, one of the biggest fears people have is like, oh, but again, like, what if they say no? It's like, well, you already know what's going to happen if they say no. you're going to be in the exact same position you are now. And it's, it is what it is. But number two is that people genuinely, most people are good people and they want to help. And so they'll figure out a way to help in one way or another. And if it's not the right time for them, it's not the right time. One of the, best ways, and this is something that actually we didn't do for a while, we're happily, inviting people to our community. We're always interviewing other people in our industry because we want to share as much information with our audience. And we weren't asking in return to be interviewed, right? To go back to these people's communities and audiences to do the same. But it was okay, right? Because we've interviewed so many people, we've gotten people on our podcast. And when I reach out to them now, we've done so much for them that it's a no-brainer. They're like, oh yeah, of course, we'll get on an interview. Of course, we'll promote your event. And so it can really build up that goodwill. And again, it's really nice to be able to collaborate with people in the industry, as opposed to a lot of people think of each other as competition. There is no competition. There's an abundance of everything you can imagine out there. So
great. So I'm also curious. I've heard of paid ads. Is that something that people should consider, or is that something like further down the line, or how does that work with master classes?
Yeah, typically that's a good question. So typically, further down the line, paid advertising is definitely a good way to get more eyes on your content, get more eyes on your business. However, paid advertising is a whole different beast. There are so many different components that you have to really learn, understand, and in order to actually get really good results. And so with paid advertising, there's a couple things you have to have in place. So number one is you have to have your messaging dialed in. So one of the best ways to have your messaging dialed in is to do it organically first. Make sure that people are engaging and resonating with what you're putting out there. Because if you run paid advertising and your messaging is not on point, you're going to spend a lot of money putting stuff in front of people where they actually don't really care about what you are saying. And so if you run paid advertising before you get that validated, it's not going to work for you. So that's number one, have the messaging on point. Number two is it's not just about getting signups. Getting signups is one part of the process. Another part of the process is getting people to actually invest with you. And so if you're spending thousands of dollars a month on ads and you're getting all these awesome signups, but you haven't figured out how to get people to move forward to working with you when you invite them to work with you at the end of your masterclass, you're going to be wasting a lot of money. And so what we recommend is have at least 3 masterclasses that you've ran organically that have gotten a good number of signups and that a good number of people have moved to working with you at a deeper level. Because now okay, if I get this many signups, get this many people registered, on average, I'll get this many people to invest in my $1,000 program or $5,000 program, whatever it might be. And so now you're like, okay, well, if I get 100 people to sign up, if I get out of 100 people, if I just get 5 people to buy, right? Let's say it was a $1,000 program. That's $5,000. Now I feel a lot more comfortable putting, let's say, $1,000 on ads, because I'm like, hey, on average, I know I've done this 3 times and at least 5 people have bought. So if I run advertising, I'm comfortable spending $1,000, knowing that I'll at least make 5, right? And that's how we can start to feel better about spending money on ads. So you definitely want to have a test budget, right? So at the very minimum, like $5 a day, so $150 a month is advised. But again, the most important thing when it comes to paid advertising is patience, because it can take months. It can take months to figure out. There's a lot of testing, a lot of optimizing, and a lot of people struggle with the mindset of seeing the money go without seeing it come in as quickly. And so you don't want to rely on that strategy. It's really the cherry on top as you're getting started. So again, just to recap, messaging needs to be validated, so do it organically first, and also make sure that you know how to get people to invest in your services at the end of it, so that when you do turn on the ads, you have a predictable way of getting clients and it's going to work for you.
That's a good reminder for all of us who need to learn to walk before we run.
Yes.
In order to get to that point where we can really be able to benefit from paid marketing, we need to really figure out what our clients want, build a class based on that, and then really refine the marketing and the sales psychology behind it. Because we as dietitians are not taught how to do sales, how to do marketing. We are taught how to do nutrition education, do it really well. So that's one aspect of master classes. There's, a few other things that we're not taught. That's part of the secret sauce to getting master classes to be effective.
100%. Yeah. And we're just touching the tip of the iceberg right now too. So as you know.
Absolutely. I've done a couple so far, and each time I'm still learning and practicing, and I have so much left to learn about all of this, because like I mentioned, it's not something that we're really taught in school.
Yeah, and we've been doing it, even with the workshops and seminars for about 4 or 5 years, maybe a little bit longer now. And every single time you learn something different, you learn a new or better way to do it. So it's never ending learning, never ending growth, but it makes it all worth it, because the better you get at this process, the more people you're able to help. And it's a beautiful thing.
Agree. So do you have any common mistakes that people might fall for that you might want to share?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of them, and we've learned a lot of them the hard way. And so our goal is to make it very easier for people to run these without making as many mistakes as we did. There'll still be mistakes that are made, but that's okay, because it's part of the process. And so I'll share with you a few of them. We'll be sharing a lot more of the mistakes, but also the ways to make them successful in the event that we're hosting next week. And so for anyone who's watching this either live or on the replay, and you're already interested in learning more about how to create and launch your first or next successful masterclass, just put the word masterclass down below, and I'll make sure to get you, or Joyce will make sure to get you the details. So we like to break up the masterclass process into 3 core phases. There's a few more than 3, but I'm going to start with the 3 core ones, which is prepare, promote, and present. So you've got to prepare for the masterclass, you've got to promote for the masterclass, and you've got to present the masterclass. Okay. To add an extra one, we would say profit. Right now, how do you actually make money from the masterclass? Just as important. And so let's go ahead and do one mistake for each of these phases. Okay. So the first one is prepare. Okay. So one of the biggest mistakes that people make when preparing their masterclass, and we kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier, is they don't choose a masterclass subject, a topic that their audience actually wants or cares about. And so what I mean by that is we don't figure out what topic people actually want to learn about. We decide on the masterclass based on what we think is the best topic for people. And what's very interesting about that is that because we are the expert, right, what we think people want is very different from what they actually want. And so that's one of the biggest mistakes that we see people make, is that they create a whole masterclass, a whole event based on what they think people want. And so when they go out and promote it, which is the second phase, they get crickets. No one wants what they have because no one actually wanted it in the first place. And so in the 5-day challenge we're hosting next week, we're actually going to show you the better way of doing it to make sure that you choose a topic that people actually do want, so that when you do go to phase 2 and start promoting, people are actually registering. They're actually engaging with your content and actually making it a point to show up. And so that's one of the biggest mistakes that we see, is choosing a masterclass topic that people don't actually want to learn about. That's number 1. So number 2, and we'll go, we'll talk about big mistake number 2 inside of phase number 2, which is promote. So it's very simple. People don't promote enough. Some people don't promote at all, right? And so when it comes to hosting an event, and really anything that you do in your business, people are not just going to know what's happening without you telling them what's happening. And so one of the keys to business in general, but even more importantly for an event like this, is you got to promote. You got to shout from the rooftops that this thing is happening, because people won't know otherwise. And you might seem annoying. You might seem like, you're sending too many emails, too many texts,
posting too much, okay? And some people might tell you, we got a message the other day from someone that said, oh, you guys send way too many emails. And I'm like, great, I'm glad that it got your attention, right? And so sometimes you will get messages like that, but there are also people on the other side of that that are thankful, that are like, oh my God, I'm so happy you sent me this email because I would have totally forgotten to register. I would have totally forgotten to attend the live training. And so you'll always have people on both sides, okay? And so with the promotion, here's another thing to consider, right? On social media specifically. On social media, isn't it true that only a very small portion of people that are even following you will ever see the posts that you put out, right? There's people that you follow that maybe you'll see a post once, every other day from them. But when you go to their profile, you're like, oh my God, this person has posted like 5 times in the last 2 days. I completely miss all these posts, right? And so it feels like a lot to you because you're the one that's creating it. You're the one that's posting it. But to other people who are not on their phone or on your profile 24/7, they might miss multiple posts throughout the day. They might miss your, first 3 emails. And so you want to make sure that you're top of mind and promoting as often as possible because it's very unlikely that they're going to see all your posts anyway. And so that's the biggest mistake. Number 2 is that people don't promote enough, if at all, sometimes. So that's the second mistake in the second phase of promote. And then the third mistake, number 3, is inside of the present phase. And so in the present phase, what ends up happening, especially as healthcare, health professionals and experts, we love to teach, right? Even now, like I can't shut up. I want to teach, and there's a lot more that we're going to be covering next week. But when it comes to presenting, if you teach too much, and you teach in a way that people can't really understand, people feel overwhelmed. And so there are words that you'll use, if you guys remember like the Krebs cycle, right? Different things that we learned in school, that if you use those same words and try to explain those same concepts to the layperson who did not go to school for as many years as you have, they're going to be overwhelmed. They're going to be confused. And when someone's overwhelmed with information, they stay paralyzed, meaning that they won't do anything afterwards, or they'll think that they have enough information to go out there and try it on their own, which is just not true, right? And so one of the biggest mistakes when it comes to presenting is, again, like I said, people teach too much, so people feel overwhelmed. And then I'll give you a second piece of that I've heard quite a bit is people don't give a call to action. And so meaning you don't tell them what to do next. If you don't tell people what to do next, guess what? They don't know what to do next. So you've got to tell them, okay? You've got to tell them, hey, now that you've gone through this presentation, if you want more support, here's what you have to do next. And you tell them where to go. And you spend some time telling them where to go. So those are the 3 mistakes. Just to recap, number 1 is choosing a masterclass topic that people don't care about. Mistake number 2 is not promoting enough. And we're going to show you, for a lot of people, the reason that they don't promote enough is because they don't know what to promote or how to promote. And so next week, we're going to show you exactly how to do that. And then number 3 is teaching too much in their presentation and not having a call to action is part of mistake number 3. So we're going to show you the exact amount that you should be teaching and how to present next week. And we're going to show you what types of call to actions you can have to get people to want to invest in your services.
Those resonate with me so much, Javi. I definitely made some of those mistakes. So, we're still a work in progress. We're always learning new things. Always. So I'm happy that you shared those 3. And I'm not alone in making some of those mistakes. No. We're always trying to show wow our audience and trying to provide so much value that we end up getting them too overwhelmed. And someone that's overwhelmed and confused, like Javi said, they're paralyzed, they're not going to buy.
Exactly.
And worse, if they think they can get it all done on their own, then they won't want to work with you. But in reality is they need you. You just got to make sure you show them that in a way that resonates with them.
Absolutely, 100%. For anyone who is interested in attending and learning about how to launch your own masterclass so that you can not only help more people, but you can make a lot more money in a lot less of your time, we're hosting the Fast Track to 5 Figures Challenge. Now, Fast Track to 5 Figures, you're like, Javi, but I want to make 6 figures, 5 figures a month. Okay, we're gonna get 5 figures a month. Okay, so you can make 10,000 a month, 20,000 a month, 50,000 a month. You can make 6 figures a month, right? And here's the thing, okay? Even if you don't make 5 figures with a masterclass, your first 3 times, your first 4 times, your first 5 times, guess what is happening? You're improving your skill set. You're learning every single time. You're building your audience at the same time. Continue to provide value. Because think about this. Even if it took you a whole year, 12 master classes to start making $10,000 off every master class you do, right? In 90 minutes, okay? Wouldn't it be worth, after a year, being able to know for a fact that in 90 minutes once a month, you can make $10,000 just like that? And here's what's even crazier is that by that point, after doing it for a year, you would have, again, built your audience. And so the likelihood is you'd actually be making a lot more than that. Okay. There have been people that, like I said, that have made 6 figures in one masterclass. Okay. We know them personally. Okay. And so wouldn't it be worth learning this skill? Absolutely. So this is the Fast Track to 5 Figures Challenge, okay, for health professionals and coaches, where you're able to make more in 90 minutes than you do in a month. So if you're making $4,000 a month, $5,000 a month, okay, $10,000 a month, it's possible. Okay. And the cool thing about this is that depending on what you're offering, you can do it all without sales calls or having to sell through the DMs, like sending people payment links through the DMs. Okay. When you actually haven't built a relationship with them. So I'm going to go ahead and briefly show you the 2 options for this. Okay. And then Joyce does have her affiliate link. Okay. We only give these affiliate links to people who believe in the system, who have utilized the system, and who know that it can help other people. And so it is Joyce's affiliate link. She'll be sharing that with you. Now, there are 2 options. Okay, we have general admission, which is only $27 for the entire 5 days plus a bonus day training. And so with the $27 general admission, you're going to get 14 days access to the recordings. I know for a lot of you, the recordings are important because sometimes you can't attend live. So you will have access to the recording. So you might be asking, well, when is it? What are the dates? Okay, what are the dates? When is it happening? It's May 22nd, Monday, May 22nd through Friday, May 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern time, unless you're in the VIP. Okay, so again, the dates and times at the end of the day don't matter because we have the recordings. So you should just come anyway. Okay, you'll get the recordings for at least 14 days. And number 2, we have the VIP access, which is $97. Okay. So with the VIP access, you get the recordings for 6 months. You're able to also spend an additional 30 minutes with myself and Marissa before the general admission training. Okay. So you'll be able to ask questions, get your specific questions answered around how to create and launch your own masterclass. So you'll be able to spend more time with us and, like I said, get personalized support. You'll have access to a VIP accountability group chat, and you'll also get some pretty awesome bonuses like our masterclass launch checklist so that you know exactly what you have to do step by step to launch your first or next masterclass. You'll have a masterclass attendee tracking sheet. So this is a sheet that's going to allow you to track all of the people who are interested, all of the people who are attending, so you can keep tabs on them and make sure that they are showing up and moving forward and working with you. And we're also going to give you, we didn't add it here, but a masterclass tech setup checklist. If you're like most people, probably get overwhelmed with tech, don't worry. We have a checklist of all the things that you have to have in place so you are ready to rock and roll and go live on masterclass launch day. And we're also going to throw in all the presentation slides for the 5 days so you can quickly glance and review them whenever you need to. So again, that is our Fast Track to 5 Figures Challenge. We have both the general admission and the VIP access, and we would love for you to attend. So we are going to be going over the 5 days. So the first day is the Fast Track to 5 Figure system. We're going to show you exactly the entire system and what it looks like built out. Number 2, we're going to help you to effortlessly craft your masterclass topic. So by that day, you'll have your topic ready to go. Okay. Day number 3 is how we're going to show you how to actually get people to show up. So
We're calling this marketing magic. We're going to show you and go more in depth into the promotional cycle and what types of posts you should be putting out there to get people to join. Day 4, we're going to show you the 5 ways to make 5 figures. So these are your money multipliers. And we're going to show you how easy it is to actually hit those numbers. Okay? And day number 5, I'm actually going to take you through the entire masterclass process. So I'm going to show you how to launch like a pro and how to actually do the presentation on day number 5. It's going to be awesome because you can literally watch that, take down notes, have the entire script ready to go to launch your own masterclass. So that's the Fast Track to 5 Figures Challenge. We're super excited and we would love to have you there.
This sounds awesome, what you and Marissa have been able to put together.
Beautiful.
Okay, wonderful. So I'm just going to go ahead and say thank you, Javi, for sharing all of this and for everything that you're doing to help us dietitians really, extend their reach and be able to do what we do more effectively so that we can feel better about the work that we do. We can help more people and ultimately, be able to have successful businesses, right? So that we can feel more fulfilled as professionals. So thank you so, so much.
That is what it's all about. And, every single one of you, we've gone through this. We have the knowledge, we have the education. We just have to learn how to get it out there to more people. And this is one of the best ways to do it. So yeah, thank you so much, Joyce. Like I said before, I really appreciate you and just honored to be able to share some of the stuff that we've learned over the years with your people, with your audience.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming and thanks for watching, everyone. Take care.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Take care.
Hey, what's up? Thank you so much for watching the show. I know your time is super valuable, and I know that you're here to learn how to grow a successful practice. So I have something special just for you. If you are a health expert who is in business or aspiring to be, and you're curious about how to grow a profitable, impactful practice, you're going to want to pay attention. Because as a person who is watching the show, I want you to win. So I've created a bundle of resources exclusively for those who are watching the Practice Revolution. So if you are tired of trying to figure out this game of business, marketing, and sales all on your own, and you're ready to implement what's already proven to work rather than reinventing the wheel, you're going to want to send us a private message on Instagram at The Practice Revolution. And simply just let us know that you watched this show, and we'll personally hand over $7,000 worth of trainings, resources, and coaching that is available only for those who are watching this show on YouTube. So if you want to know how to increase your income, impact, and build a practice that works for the lifestyle that you want and that serves your family at the highest level, send us a private message on Instagram at The Practice Revolution. Do it now so you can win big in your practice and in your life. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next show.